Kane and Jax's Deal, from the post by Colorfully Youth Engineer on Tumblr. I think there might be some connection between Jax and Kane that we don't know about yet. You could say that Kane was portrayed as quite economical and financially motivated, and he must have someone who is willing to invest in him. And investors want to see growth and profitability in the end. So what if Kane has a financial obligation to decide which acts to fire, introduce, or continue based on their profitability? It would be in his financial interest to call or provoke abstractions from the least profitable members of the circus, as this seems to be the only effective way to remove human characters from the circus and replace them with carefully selected people from the real world. Kane, perhaps, chooses who somehow comes to the circus, which is related to the Remember theory, which will be more important for the narrative later, if not only because of profitability. Perhaps Kaufma was not making enough money, which upset the shareholders and prompted Kane, at least, to help him in abstraction, and then quickly replace him with Remember. I have no doubt that not long ago, before the arrival of Remember, Jax learned about Kane's shadow practices due to his cunning, resourcefulness, and ability to penetrate almost anywhere, as well as mutual blackmail. Kane probably could turn off Jax's programming if he wanted, and Jax unleashed chaos, revealing Kane's secrets to other members of the circus. Jax will not tell anyone the truth about Kane because he somehow won from this, probably having the opportunity to roam freely and create other chaos. This could be one of the secrets revealed about Jax in the upcoming episode dedicated to him. The theory, they're all artificial intelligence. So, if you're not aware, I've heard a theory that all our human friends are actually artificial intelligence. If you want to know more, I'm sure there are plenty of posts or videos about it. I'm here to explain why I really don't think this is right. The question of the series, the whole point is this. What do people do when they get trapped in this terrifying, inevitable situation? Each of the characters just has different answers. It seems to me that the essence of this show is just to show how all the characters react to the fact that they got trapped and react to those with whom they got trapped. So why is this important? If they introduce the idea, you're all actually AI and none of you are real, deal with it. It completely overturns the question they ask. Now it's a question, what will people do if they find out they're actually AI? Of course, this can be an interesting question, but it seems like a serious deviation from the original premise. Maybe I'm thinking about all this wrong, but that's why I really don't like this theory. It seems like too big a departure from what the series originally asks. If this was a question they wanted to explore, I feel they would have started not with the appearance of Remember in the circus, they would have started with the fact that everyone was in the circus. I think this would have made it more focused. Especially since they only have 8 episodes to work with, a sudden expansion of the show's premise seems too radical. IDK, let me know what you think. I know that I didn't really provide any evidence or something like game theory, moreover. I just feel about it. In conclusion, I think that if they all turn out to be artificial, it will negate the meaning of the show. Try to convince me that they all actually make sense. So far, most of the attention has been focused on Remember, so I wouldn't say that the series loses this interesting premise if Gangle, for example, turns out to be AI Remember, and other characters will still be convincing. I was more wondering why a character's reaction to being trapped is the meaning of the series. A good parallel would be Attack on Titan. The main characters are trapped within walls that separate them from the Titans outside, and we, of course, see how most of them react to being trapped in this inevitable situation. But I wouldn't call this the meaning of the series. I would call it the plot and setting. But the essence was revealed in the story and journey of the character. I won't spoil, but it was very unlike just being trapped. Similarly, I think that in TIDC there can still be an interesting story, apart from how they react to being trapped in a virtual world, and some characters being AI do not destroy the show in themselves. Imagine that Jax is the same NPC as Gamagoo, except that he somehow managed to get into the circus without Kane deleting him. This could be a crazy plot thread that would be very interesting, not distracting from the stories of the human character. So, I'm not against AI, I just hope it's done well and with a small number of characters if done at all. Another cool concept that I forgot to mention until I read it somewhere else in this thread is that if they are all artificial intelligence, they could be artificial intelligence based on people who wear headsets. In reality, this is no different from observing people in such a situation, because all these AIs in any case believe that they are people. It would be like an episode of Black Mirror. I would be totally not against seeing such a plot because it adds a new interesting plot to follow without destroying the premise on which the series is based. I see two possibilities. Case A. They are all human minds transferred to the circus. There is also no one at the other end. No one is wearing a VR headset, according to the scale reduction at the end of the first episode. This would make the circus something like an SCP entity that sucks people in and traps them inside digital bodies. But there is also abstraction. In real life, if you go crazy, you can still be at least a little distracted from it. According to Gooseworks, abstraction cannot be reversed, and you lose any sense of individuality. Thus, it is more like they are AI, even if they did not start as AI. Now, these are programs that can be damaged if they reach a critical point. Case B, it's AI. They can be copies, like in the game Soma, and they have something in common with robots in Soma. They have some memories of their past I to the extent that they believe that they were those people from whom they were copied. Reaching their limit, they go crazy and turn into monsters. In Soma, there are robots called Cadillacs who had a human mind, but they went so crazy that they became like wild animals and cannot speak, only make strange screams. Kaufmo is very similar to a Cadillac who goes crazy and loses all his humanity. They can also not be copies, but created from scratch based on a human template. If Kane was able to endow Gumagoo with memories of events and people that never existed, how can any of the circus members be sure that their memories were ever real? I expected Remember to ask if she was real after listening to Gamig. If a file system ever appears and they can be erased by messing with files, it will almost certainly indicate that it is artificial intelligence. But regardless of whether this is case A or B, they are still a human mind reacting to the fact that they got trapped in the circus, provided that their thought processes are indistinguishable from the thought processes of flesh and blood people. Preserving personality. If the characters are human minds transferred to the circus, perhaps their personalities and memories were preserved to some extent. This could explain why they still possess human emotions and the ability to think. The process of abstraction. If abstraction is really like a computer virus or glitch, it can affect the functioning of the characters in the game. This could explain why characters who have undergone abstraction begin to behave differently. Influence on the game. If the characters are artificial intelligences, their actions and decisions can have a significant impact on the game. They can make changes to the game world and interact with other characters and game elements. Memories and identity. If the characters are artificial intelligences created based on a human template, they may have memories or identity that do not correspond to their current state. This can cause a conflict between their memories and their current experience.